There's no reason for any of you to be here. I just want the mother and the father and 3 of my disciples. This is really not a big deal. She's not dead. She's just sleeping. And he's talking about the girl. He's talking about the little girl. And the entire crowd starts laughing at Jesus. Starts laughing at him. And this, oh man, you can just imagine Jesus' disappointment. How little faith these people have, even though they've heard and seen the miracles he's done. And yet, they laugh at him at this. But he doesn't care. He just lets him go away. He just tells him to go away. And he goes into the house with the mother and the father and the 3 disciples, so 5 other people. And Jairus leads him into the room where his daughter is laying dead. And he reaches down and he grabs the daughter's hand. And he says, "Arise, little girl." Or, "Little girl, rise." Basically calls her out from the grave. And the little girl, life is sparked into her. She has this breath of life and she sits up. And you imagine she's probably just had like the worst nightmare of her life. And she's looking around. She sees her mom and her dad. She's overjoyed and they're crying and everybody's crying. And Jesus just goes, "You are not to speak of this to anyone. You are not to tell anyone that she was dead. Give her some food." And he walks out. And it's crazy. It is so crazy, the difference between the two. This woman who's been bleeding for 12 years and this little girl who's 12 years old. And one he wants to make public and known. He wants everyone to know that she is healed. And then the other one he wants to make absolute private. And you're like, and I'm thinking to myself, why would this be? Why would Jesus have these 2 different standards? Why would he make one absolutely public and one absolutely private? And one reason, the one explanation that I've heard that I really like was from Chris Brown from North Coast Church. His thought on this was that Jesus didn't want this little girl growing up being known as the dead girl. Who would want to play with the dead girl? You know? And so Jesus shows compassion on this little girl. And he says, just make it private. Don't let anybody know. You know, maybe so that way she can just grow up and live a normal life. And with the woman, she said he basically makes it public so that way she can come back into society and she's no longer ostracized. So Jesus just is like this, has like this so wise forethought on these people, and he has mercy on them. And so why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because we serve such an amazing God. We serve such an amazing Savior. And the fact is, I wanted to point out 4 things that Jesus has dominance over. He has dominion over. He has authority over. 1, Jesus has absolute control and power and authority over creation because he called off the winds, he called off the wind. And then 2, Jesus has absolute authority and dominion over the spiritual realm. He's able to cast out demons. And they just come and they bow before him automatically without even him saying anything. And he just casts them out. And 3, Jesus has authority and dominion over sickness. By this woman even touching his cloak, he's able to heal her. And then 4, Jesus has absolute power and authority over death. And he's able to call this girl back from the grave. And we see this 3 times in the New Testament. He raises Lazarus by just calling his name out of the tomb. We see it with this little girl. He just calls her name and she comes back to life. And then we see it with himself. He dies. He's resurrected 3 days later. He has absolute power over the grave. So when you're feeling down this week, when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling like, God, you're not in control because my life is a mess, what are you doing? Understand who you're talking to. Understand that you're talking to the God of creation. You're talking to the God who has absolute power over the spiritual realm, who's able to fight off the devil. You're talking to a God who has absolute power over sickness, and you're talking to a God who has absolute power over death. And there's nothing that he can't do in your life. So as always, be blessed and have a great week.